What's up, Neon Nation? Welcome back to the channel for a brand new Cyberpunk 2077 video. Today we're talking about a very popular topic in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, which is its music. Topics in today's video include Cyberpunk 2077's musical composition, samurai, Rockerboys, the fusion of cyber and punk, licensing of artists, cyberpunk radio and clubs, dynamic music and sound cues, as well as musical inspiration for Cyberpunk 2077 coming from the likes of BladeRunner, Akira, and Ghost in the Shell. First and foremost, let's take a look at what kind of sounds we will be hearing in Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red answered a fan regarding their musical direction in a brief message via Facebook. In this message, they mentioned marrying the cyber with the punk, with cyber referring to sonic texture and a raw, dirty, synthesized sound palette. Punk is all about the attitude of the music and being rebellious, ballsy, and impulsive. They promised to make the soundtrack of Cyberpunk as colorful as the world of Night City, and that they would be drawing from all genres to create a soundtrack that first and foremost leads the narrative and adds context to the story. This means that lore-based classes in the Rockerboys will come to life with the punk side of the musical direction, and also netrunners and techies will feel at home too with the futuristic sounds reflective of their role and job in Night City. From Johnny SIlverhand and his rebellious attitude-inspired track Chippin In, to the dirty and dark pounding of the scavengers' tunes permeating the graffitied walls of their lair, this fusion seems to be apparent. In the same light, larger-than-life celebrities and bands like Lizzy, Wizzy, and the Metadwarves and Samurai will have a large presence not only in their music, but how that music impacts celebrity worship in the dark future. Now, when it comes to the lead composition of the soundtrack of Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red has decided to go with highly established musical director Marcin Przybyłowicz, who composed the epic and emotional Witcher 3 soundtrack, which is arguably the best video game soundtrack of the last decade. Also on the audio and musical direction team, they have Brian Mantia and Melissa Reese. Brian Mantia has worked with bands like Guns N' Roses and Primus and will be an integral part of the soundtrack. Vocalist and composer Melissa Reese is also on the project, and whose previous work can be seen in Bloodborne and infamous Second Son. In an interview with Mantia and in regards to Cyberpunk 2077, he claims this project in particular has been a little challenging because the developers are looking for music that has never been heard before. They're looking for music that would actually be made in the year 2077. I'm into it because I really love white noise, and I figure that's where music is going to be 60 years from now. Basically, this means every frequency within the range of human hearing from 20 to 20,000 Hz. He ends with, "I'm really digging the experimentation on this project." This is pretty exciting because the genre is by nature very experimental, and if they pull off some truly unique sounds, it could have a big impact on how we look at the world of Cyberpunk and the genre as a whole. Now, on the flip side, experimentation is also very polarizing and is a risky move. Now, according to CD Projekt Red themselves, the music of the game will all be produced in-house, meaning they won't be licensing outside artists. They did this with the trailers, with Hyper's song Spoiler being featured in the E3 trailer, and Archive's Bullets being featured in the teaser trailer. This might mean radio stations, clubs, and other areas in Night City that are filled with the sounds of Cyberpunk may in fact be completely unique and made in-house. There is some debate on whether we will see licensed music from other artists, but for the time being, CDPR has stated otherwise. In addition to all these things, music will be dynamic rather than scripted. If you remember my E3 audio leak video, I compared two separate leaks of the gameplay demo and deduced that in the scavenger lair scene, there were in fact distinctly separate tracks running during the assault on the scavenger lair, meaning that there were two audio leaks out there. This also means that the music that you hear on the streets of Night City will be dynamic and will be fluid based on if it's night or day, if you're in a specific kind of club, or potentially even your positioning on the map and what you're looking at. This is further implied by Przybyłowicz mentioning how the open setting of Cyberpunk allows for them to add sound cues. He notes an example we've seen in the interaction with the Maelstrom gang. If things go south for you in the interaction and a shootout ensues, the music will come to a boiling point and snap as you begin to fire your rounds into your enemies. If the deal goes down without a hitch, the anxiety-laced synths die down and more calm music floods back into the background. Now, the challenge for the creation of this soundtrack is very high. Przybyłowicz mentions that in comparison to The Witcher's rich history and context, the musical environment was very much a reflection of the fantasy world that they had already established. On the contrary, the genre of cyberpunk is less established, as is the source material in Cyberpunk 2020 when it comes to musical direction, and thus the creation of a believable musical environment is more of a challenge. Priest mentions that you have to be extra careful of how the music sits in the game universe, how it sits with storylines, art direction, and general style. Whilst the game is still in development but playable from start to finish, they want to work on the music till the very last minute they can. As you know by now, this is a signature component of the high fidelity and detail associated with CD Projekt Red's work. As far as musical inspiration goes, Priest mentions rewatching both BladeRunners, Akira, the Ghost in the Shell anime, as well as the Hollywood production, and focusing on how the musical layer helps convey the narration. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you like the content, and for more Cyberpunk 2077, make sure you stay locked on the Neon Arcade.